Hi everybody, can you see me? And indeed, can you hear me? Do let me know if you are live. Let me know when you can see me, when you can hear me. Hi Lethargy. So good to see you, good to hear you. And it looks like the parade is going to be getting underway very shortly. We have hi Catherine. So let me just flick us over so we can see. And here we are. How cool is that? How York? That as we've got these wonderful enthusiasts portraying for us the 6th Legion. We're going to talk a bit about Saturnalia, but of course, let's just take a minute just to get in. So we'll talk a little bit about Saturnalia in just a moment. We'll just try and work out what's happening at the minute. I understand that there's been a few delays arriving, so there may be a few more people joining at the back, but they're getting into formation for this annual event now.
Make way. I'm going to start marching the legions through. Thank you. Parati! X! Are you ready? Are you ready? Move! Sin! 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 Dex! Sin! 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 Dex! Sin! Evil! Evil!
Only in York, folks.
Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Magna Dea! Minerva! Magna Dea! Minerva! Magna Dea! Minerva!
So they're invoking the goddess Minerva, Roman goddess of poetry, drama, and wisdom along the way. And they're calling to one another Yo Saturnalia, which was the traditional call during Saturnalia festival, that apparently the streets would ring out. There's many letters complaining about unruly drunk Romans shouting Yo Saturnalia to the early hours of the morning. The whole thing of Saturnalia was about drinking, it's about excess, noise, partying. It kind of speaks for itself.
Signore! 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 Sexty! Victrix! Sexty! Victrix! Sexty! Victrix!
So we have the 6th Legion here, the Hispanic Legion, the Victrix Legion, that are taking their rightful place down Davygate. Not actually one of the Roman streets of York, but they're working certainly towards one. There's a stone gate, the Via Praetoria, so they are about to be following in the footsteps of the Roman soldiers based here, initially the 9th Legion, followed by the 6th Legion here in York. And so these will be a common sight in Eboracum. Each year, the Festival of Saturnalia. It is, of course, a festival dedicated to Saturn, the Roman god of feasting, of the harvest. Famously ate his own kids. Not very Christmassy, you think. But there you go. That's Saturn for you.
Evil! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia!
So, the Temple of Saturn was founded in Rome in 500 BC, we believe. And so, this festival of Saturnalia goes back at least sort of 2,500 years. And what had originally been a one-day celebration by the sort of 2nd and 3rd centuries had evolved into a sort of full 6-day shebang of drink, of food, excess, partying, gambling, getting roaring drunk, passing out, waking up, going to the vomitorium, doing it all over again. It was that kind of vibe. Everything was more is more. So it's a time when the Romans, normally, of course, very disciplined, very ordered, completely changed their kind of mindset and instead they embrace chaos as darkness, as where the light gives way to darkness. Instead, they embrace a world upside down. Look at this now done Stonegate. How fabulous does this look? So the torches, of course, the candles, very much kind of Roman pop. Very loud.
Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia!
I hope you're saying this at home.
Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Magna Dea! Magna Dea! Magna Dea! Joviane! Signores! Joviane! Signores! Joviane! Signores! Matrix! 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 Por Imperatore! Por Imperatore! Por Imperatore! Por Imperatore! Por Imperatore! Por Imperatore!
So we think that Saturnalia really is, in effect, a sort of prayer for the harvest, really. It's a weird way of praying by getting kind of roaring drunk and gambling and into a lot of excess. But nonetheless, that is really the kind of the crux of Saturnalia. Obviously, in the Northern Hemisphere, this is a festival that is either side of the solstice. So it starts on the 17th of December, runs through the 23rd of December. So that's 6 days of festive behaviour, as you might say. Yeah, isn't that fabulous? And we think that the Roman celebration may have introduced in Chronos, the Greek winter festival, called Chronos, of course, time. So it's the same god as Saturn, Chronos. Greeks and Romans are the same gods with different names. So it is a very, very old celebration, and it was characterised by gift giving. And the Romans would give each other gifts. As the final day of Saturnalia was a Saturnalia, the time when traditionally gifts were given. But what's kind of really interesting, I think, about Saturnalia is there was very much a focus on equality. Saturn belonged to the Golden Age. It's an age before slavery. So, of course, the Romans were slave-owning people. So, consequently, it meant Saturnalia was celebrated by introducing a kind of temporary pause upon the kind of hierarchy. And so slaves and servants would be able to take part in the festivities, in the enjoyment. And it's even said in certain, obviously very progressive households, that the mask of the slaves. There was also focus on looking the same. So a lot of people would wear pretty much identical clothing, little caps. So loud.
Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia!
You'll be hearing this in your dreams later on.
Yo, Saturnalia! Yo, Saturnalia! Magna Dea! Magna Dea! Magna Dea!
How pretty is that? So we're obviously coming down Petergate now, which definitely is one of the Roman routes. We've got the Via Principia, the main gate, the Port Dexter in front of us, of course, Booth and Bar. So that would be in the route up to Hadrian's Wall. So these guys are being familiar with the 2 days march up to Hadrian's Wall from here. So this is very much kind of homecoming, but how wonderful does it look? And so we've got, a festival of lights, of course, like so many other Midwinter, of course, Hanukkah right now, Diwali. In the Northern Hemisphere, in the midst of the darkness, in midwinter, as we approach the shortest days, of course, we look to the light as the return of, kind of nicer weather and kind of hope and so forth. So festivals of light are something that is absolutely kind of shot through the sort of belief systems, the customs and the practice all across the Northern Hemisphere, different countries, different belief systems. But there's this common theme of often festivals of renewal, those related to the harvest and to light and the return of the light. So look at this against the wonderful looking set. Hello, John. So, of course, with everyone getting kind of roaring drunk during Saturnalia, It was a very, very kind of noisy affair, as you can imagine. The whole thing was kind of conducted in a kind of more kind of atmosphere. These lads would have been hundreds of miles away from their wives and families. What happened in Saturnalia would definitely have stayed in kind of Saturnalia. But here we are now coming for... Look at that. In front of the Minster. And of course the Minster is the focal point in the Roman provincial capital that was here. We're just by the Minster, John. So if I pan up, you'll see the Minster. The Basilica was here. The Roman Basilica, the centre of the Roman fortress, was below our feet, kind of right here. So, and we know, of course, this was a provincial capital. This was a place frequented by Roman emperors. Septimus Severus was here. Hadrian visited here. Constantius Chlorus died here. Constantine was created emperor here. This really was a kind of a place where the Romans saw as being important. It was the edge of the world. It's as kind of far north as the Romans ever really kind of got in terms of their empire. Hadrian's Wall, of course, was in effect the end of the world as far as they were concerned. So consequently, these kind of Romans are right at the edge of the world. They're not from here. They're Southern Europeans. What they're looking for, of course, is sunshine, nice weather, the food that goes with it, olive oil, red wine, fresh fruit and bread. And instead, of course, they got Northern Britain. They got the wind and the rain of Hadrian's Wall. So this really was a pretty crummy posting as far as the Romans were concerned. And there's certainly plenty of records from what's called Vindolanda, which is a fort on Hadrian's Wall, that were discovered many centuries later, of these Romans really complaining they hated it here. This was just the worst posting ever. So presumably Saturnalia would have been a really welcome break to be up at the wall. How far was that?
Eboracum! Eboracum!
Wonderful. So we were expecting some Brigantes as well, but I'm not quite sure whereabouts they are. Maybe they're kind of late arriving, or maybe they've already been defeated kind of en route. So I suspect with roads and rail disruptions, it may well be that we've kind of been broken up. But what we'll try and do is we'll try and grab, as these guys break up, we'll try and grab a word or two with them, and because I know you always love to hear from the reenactment enthusiasts, and we'll find out a bit about their passion as kind of Romans, and what indeed they think of Saturnalia 2023. So we'll see if we can grab one or two in just a minute. So get ready for that. So on microphone, which is never ideal preparation. So as ever, country. So, isn't it wonderful? The costumes, as ever, are absolutely first rate. So now inviting members of the public to be able to have their photos taken, which is just lovely. So as with all these things, it's about audience engagement, isn't it? It's about popularising history and quite literally bringing history to life, which is just, you couldn't ask for more, could you really? Then these guys get to exercise it, and girls as well, exercise their passion. Everybody else gets to really kind of walk it and feel, they weren't Christian.
You're looking at now, saved up all year for what they call Saturnalia, which was a whole week's piss up. So this is Saturnalia was around about the time of Christmas, and we are celebrating it here tonight in the fortress of Eboracum, which was for most of the time the most northern fortress of the whole Roman Empire. And you're in it and you're celebrating it with members of the Legion. The guys at the back of the 6th Legion Victrix, who were here for most of the time. These guys at the front are stunning. Magister Militum, they're later Romans. You probably notice the difference in the dress. These helmets cost thousands of pounds. These are what we call the bling boys. So enjoy the rest of the city and enjoy Saturnalia. What they're going to do now is traditional, go off and get drunk. I hope you're good.
Such is the dedication.
Yo Saturnalia! Yo Saturnalia!
Yo Saturnalia!
Yo Saturnalia! Yo Saturnalia! Eboracum! 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 Magna Dea! Minerva! Magna Dea! Minerva! Magna Dea! Minerva!
Fabulous. So they're on the way to get drunk. We're going to just see if we can't just capture one or two of them before they do, just to kind of admire. They're absolutely fabulous. But I should wait for people to take their photos first. But what I'm loving over here is look at this, the feathers. How fabulous. Look at that movement there. That looks absolutely awesome. He's pretending that he doesn't notice that he's being filmed right now. But he's a smirk broke out there. Your diggest moment there, wasn't it? You broke. You're looking absolutely fabulous there. Loving those feathers. You're a very naughty boy. Look at that. And this is fantastic because this is a kind of a coppery gold kind of chainmail.
It's not chainmail, it's brass, but it's called squamata.
Squamata, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like fish scales.
And would I be right in saying this is kind of proper upper class, as you might say? Looks pretty expensive.
It's for officers. So
for the officers, yeah.
I'm an officer in the 6th Legion.
Yep.
So my name is Marcus Manutius Mudenos, and I was an optio. I am an optio in the 6th Victrix.
And what would that involve then? What would your sort of daily duties be in terms of your command?
So if we were in battle, my duties would be to take the role of the centurion. So if he was at the front shouting orders, I would be at the back pushing the soldiers forward.
Oh, I see. So you are the cattle prod, as you might say.
And I'd normally, today I've got this lovely torch, but I'd normally carry a big stick,
Yep.
which is called a hastile.
Yep.
So I'd be pushing the soldiers from the back forward to stop them from deserting.
And that was needed, was it? They were pretty reluctant to, once you're at the back, you could slip away.
They just, this was a daily job, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
daily grind. They needed a bit of encouragement.
So looking at this, does this kind of mean that you probably were born into a good family, or have you excelled on the battlefield? How have you got to your rank?
It could have been either, yeah. So you could have been by inheritance from my father, who might have been in the Legion as well, or just by being really good.
So you might have slipped a few quid to get you a commission into the army to...
Could have been.
Yeah. But we're going to say we think we did it on deeds on the battlefield.
Deeds on the battlefield.
Deeds on the battlefield. And, it's pretty tight-fitting, isn't it? You'd have to presumably sort of stay in the same kind of shape, but it's not very forgiving, I wouldn't think.
I think the revelry soldiers are much fitter than I am.
Yeah, good marching legs there. So you're going to march up to Hadrian's Wall after this, then?
No, we'll go to the pub.
You got the pub after this. So a firm march to the pub. So let's come. Thank you so much. Let us just try and admire before. Just look at this gentleman here. They're about to go to formation, but just admire the artistry and the craftwork in this helmet. That is absolutely phenomenal. Am I right thinking this is a later?
Yes.
Later
Roman, yes.
Yeah, perfect.
4th century.
4th century, fantastic. So time of Constantine, we're thinking, and this part of the empire, Western Empire, we're talking here, or?
Yeah.
Western Empire, yeah?
We're about 365.
About 365, so yeah, second half. Well, that is fabulous. And you are an officer, you're a legate, what's your role?
I would be a tribune.
A tribune?
Legio.
It is absolutely spectacular. Get up. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I really enjoyed that. So I think what we'll do is we'll leave them to go to the pub, and we'll have a very, very quick word with Graham, if he's here, because Graham is the stalwart of the scene. I'll just hold that microphone for Graham for a minute. And the organiser of all things kind of Roman here in York.
For my sins.
Runs the Roman Bath Museum.
Apologies in advance.
So where's this passion come from? Because it's not just you, is it? I mean, this is a passion. It's not just a bit of fun.
Well, it is for these boys. I mean, there's, if you've seen the pictures, which you have already, thousands of pounds worth of equipment on there. They're Viking reenactors, not quite so much equipment there. So they're a different kind of reenactor. So you've got to have enough money to do this. But the passion, well, for me, it comes from 74 years of living in York.
Because normally we'd find you dressed up, wouldn't we?
We would. I've had a new hip.
Yeah.
The left one.
Yeah.
Which
running marathons in no time.
double somersaults with tuck.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. But no, I can't do the marching bit. And this Roman armour is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So it shows you how fit Roman soldiers were. They were trained to march 20 Roman miles a day, which is about 18 modern miles, in 5 hours. Now work that out. That's pretty quick.
That's pretty solid going, isn't it? Yeah.
And in full kit and carrying your equipment. So these guys were pretty fit.
Yeah.
More than a minority of the guys you've just seen.
Smaller girths, perhaps.
Yeah, but at Yorkshire Roman City, the problem is it's become known as Viking City since that wonderful, albeit they dig. The Viking dig in Coppergate in the 70s. And after that, the Jorvik Centre, the Jorvik Museum. So people think that York's a Roman city. I set up the York Eboracum Roman Festival about 6 years ago to try and change that image. And it does work, but you have to remember that the Vikings arrived 450 years after the Romans left. So they never contacted it. We don't think so anyway. So York is a Roman city.
York's a Roman city, that's what we call it, Eboracum, and it is... Well, I'll tell you what, we were in the Masonic Lodge very recently.
Which one?
On St Saviour Gate, and they were insisting it was called Eboracum, which, we didn't like to be rude on.
Depends who you talk to.
Well, indeed.
It's like the 9th Legion, it depends who you talk to.
Indeed, Eboracum. So we are filming with the Eboracum camp.
Yeah, I'm an Eboracum guy.
Through and through.
You can call it whatever you like, we don't know.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for talking to us, Graham. Always a pleasure. We'll be back seeing you in July again in the gardens, hopefully, and we'll see the Romans and have a fantastic time.
Cheers,
thank you so much. Cheers. Thank you very much. Good to see you. I'll send you a link. Cheers.
Are you going now?
Yeah, I'm going to go here. Perfect. Thank you. So there you go. I wasn't entirely sure how long that was going to last, and it lasted just as long, I think, as it needed to. It's obviously pretty cold out here, as you can imagine, and they're very keen to go for a pint. And then I think they're going to be going around town doing some more kind of rabble rousing, and that was the kind of whole thing really of kind of Saturnalia, was really just to kind of keep everybody awake and lively, because the sense was, this was a big long party, and you're there trying to pray for a harvest, you're there trying to celebrate, so consequently perhaps the noise kind of helped. So apologies, a sort of slightly shorter tour perhaps than we've been used to. It's no bad thing to have something a little bit shorter tonight. So I'm going to wish you on your way. So nice to be out talking again. I've been busy with all sorts of things this week. Not going to go into that. But how nice just to get out and chat to you guys. So by popular request, on Wednesday, I am going to be doing my Strange History of Christmas tour. So we'll touch on this again, for those that didn't catch it, about obviously Saturnalia. But we'll perhaps touch on Good Cross. We'll talk about the ancient Egyptians and the other elements of Christmas. So do look out for that. That's going to be Wednesday evening at 9 o'clock UK time. So that'll be from at home. So we'll introduce some video and other bits and pieces in that, which will be really good fun. And how nice to be touring again, because unfortunately, being organised with, being tasked with running the collective means that I don't get to tour, which is just daft, isn't it? So I was a tour guide, and the one thing I've stopped doing is bloody tour guiding. So I'm going to attend to that, and you're going to see more of me in the coming kind of weeks and months. So fabulous. Thank you, everybody, for joining it, and we'll see you very, very soon. So thank you from York, from Eboracum, and one more time, get ready, I want you all, wherever you are, to shout out in return, Yo, Saturnalia! Bye, everybody.